Hi there and welcome to the Met Office forecast for the week ahead. The first few days of meteorological winter, and it has been rather wintry so far, with frost, ice and in some places disruptive snowfall. However, through this week, the more typical winter weather for the UK, Atlantic-driven weather, returns. It's going to make a stuttering return. Already we've seen an area of low pressure turn up and bring rain and some less cold conditions as we've begun the week across much of England, Wales, southern Scotland. You can see by the colours here, it's not quite as cold, but the blues have remained across northern Scotland and Northern Ireland. And as this first low pulls away, well, actually the blues do make a return for a time, Tuesday and into Wednesday. It's not going to be as cold as it has been over the last few days, but nevertheless, we're not seeing the mild air take over just yet. But looking out to the west, another series of lows waiting to come in, this time with even milder air heading our way, carried on by a very strong jet stream. And it's the power of this jet stream that will fire these lows in from the Atlantic and make a more concerted return from later Wednesday and for the rest of the week to wet, windy and in many places milder weather. Although, having said that, the colder conditions won't be too far away. They'll cling on to the far north of the UK later this week, and it's not going to feel particularly mild, I don't think, in many places, even if the temperatures on the thermometer will be rising. Back to Monday though, and as this low clears away, we do see a return to colder but clearer conditions as we start off Tuesday. A frosty and in places icy start to the day for northern Scotland, with showers overnight leading to some slippery surfaces first thing. But actually northern Scotland, that's where the brightest weather will be. Western parts of Northern Ireland as well, some sunny spells. Elsewhere, outbreaks of rain, some heavy rain initially for eastern England, for example, but it turns more showery through the day. We continue to see this feed of many rain showers into eastern and central England, northern and eastern Scotland as well. But actually, for many other places, showers will be fewer and there'll be some brighter skies turning up by the afternoon, especially towards western parts, but we'll keep the cloudier skies and a bit of a keen breeze towards eastern areas. It's going to be feeling colder as a result of the colder air returning, but actually with brighter skies and lighter winds for many western areas, not too unpleasant, I think, after Monday's wet start to the week. Then, under those clear skies, we start off Wednesday with these kinds of temperatures, widely a frost up and down the country, some freezing fog patches as well. These are the urban centre temperatures, and in some rural spots, those temperatures will be even lower. So certainly a chilly start to Wednesday. We're back to frost. We're back to some icy patches as well, first thing. The freezing fog across parts of central and eastern Scotland, eastern England as well, could be slow to clear, for example, through the Vale of York, lasting until lunchtime. But that will soon get replaced by brighter skies in the east. And cloud will build through the afternoon from the west, and outbreaks of rain will swiftly return to Northern Ireland and western fringes of Scotland, England and Wales. A strengthening wind developing as well later Wednesday. This is the Atlantic weather making a more definitive return. And you can see on the temperatures, 11 Celsius for Plymouth as that wind and rain sets in, but actually still in the low to mid single figures for eastern and northern parts of the country. Now, the front that's bringing this rain in slows down as it bumps into the cold block to the east of the UK. That could cause some issues because it's going to pile up the rain across western parts of the country, and that in combination with snow melt, for example, across Cumbria, as well as central Scotland, could cause a few issues as that rainfall continues for some time through later Wednesday and into Thursday. But you can see by the colours, the milder air is making inroads, especially towards the south and southwest, although it's going to stay on the cold side towards the north and the east well into Thursday and Friday. But playing through later Wednesday and into the early hours of Thursday, you can see how as that rain bumps into the colder air, there will be some snowfall. Now, most of this is going to be over northern hills, the Pennines, uplands of Scotland, for example. So any disruptive snow, Transpennine routes, for example, will be confined overnight to higher parts of the UK, most likely. And by the end of the night, by dawn on Thursday, as you can see, it's mostly back to rain as that milder air rushes in. It's also windy, but it's an unpleasant picture first thing Thursday, with outbreaks of heavy rain at times, some persistent damp weather, and some fairly low temperatures, even if the technically milder air is starting to move in. So we're looking at 2 to 4 Celsius and outbreaks of rain across central and eastern parts of the country. A marked contrast towards the southwest, however, that's where the truly mild air is at first on Thursday, 10 Celsius this time for Devon and Cornwall. Into Thursday morning then, we've got those outbreaks of rain widely across the country, the wind picking up, coastal gales around western parts, especially Irish Sea coast, and some very wet weather out there. So for much of the day, it's basically cloudy, outbreaks of rain, heavy and persistent at times, moving east and north across the country. And temperatures, again, contrasting across the UK from the mid-single figures in the east to the double figures or teens towards the southwest. It's towards the southwest where the wind really picks up later in the day on Thursday as another area of low pressure spins up. And this could lead to some gales or even severe gales around southwestern shores and through the Irish Sea. So keep a close eye on that thing as it moves through on Thursday night really into the start of Friday. And that low's with us for Friday with the areas of rain or showers swirling around it and some very heavy rain in places, especially, again, western parts of the UK, upland parts of western UK, most likely to see the highest rainfall accumulations between Wednesday and Friday. The worst of the wet weather does clear through, followed by showers, a lot of cloud in the sky, a gusty breeze, with temperatures back closer to average for the time of year in the north, even above average in the south, and a frost-free start to the day, it has to be said as well. Now that low moves through for the start of the weekend, but hot on its heels, another low sending its weather front well in advance of it, carry through again on this very strong jet stream, 150 knots or a bit more than 150 miles an hour in force. And so that jet stream for the weekend, well and truly with us. It's going to send us areas of low pressure, weather fronts in. The initial band of rain on Saturday clears through quite quickly because of that powerful jet stream. So really it's a changeable weekend in store with low pressure having returned. That low pressure bringing us rain or showers, some strong winds as well. A much milder feel, especially towards the south and southwest, but any systems moving through fairly quickly as well because of the strong westerly winds. Back to business as usual as far as the UK's weather is concerned, the Atlantic waking up and bringing us some wet and windy weather.